Okay, here we are in the shop, and Emily and I are going to go over the window parts. Emily, can you tell us what this bottom piece of wood is here?
This is called the sill nosing.
Oh, really? And what is this piece here?
This is called the sash.
And the sash is what, the picture window frame that surrounds the glass?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you seem to know a lot about windows. Why don't you just take over from here and tell us what you know?
Alright. Well, this is called the sill nosing. These two pieces of wood right here are called the sash. This right here in the middle is called the mole cap. Around here, from this edge to that edge, all the way up and around, is called the brick mold.
So basically, this is a casement window that we're looking at, and it has one sill nosing on it. It has 3 pieces of brick mold that surround the window. Okay, and it also has 2 sashes in it, and each sash is the picture window frame that surrounds the glass. Now also, we have a double pane glass, and we have here, which is called the mole cap. Where's the bottom of the casement frame?
The bottom of the casement frame is back in here.
Oh, why don't we crank open the window and show the bottom of the casement frame?
All right.
Okay, now here's the bottom of the casement frame. The bottom of the casement frame is directly behind the sill nosing. So here's a sample of a sill nosing here, and here's a sample of a bottom of the casement frame, and that's what goes together like this. So we can either change your rotted sill nosing, or we can change your bottom casement frame at the same time. And we do offer these parts in PVC or wood, whatever you prefer. Also, here's a piece of our brick mold. Our brick mold also is in PVC and in wood. In PVC, the great thing about PVC is, you know, it never will rot again, and you can put screws and nails really close to the edge and it doesn't split or splinter or anything like that. I want to talk to you about our casement sash. When we manufacture our casement sash, this sash actually is a square piece of wood, and it runs through a molder machine, and a molder machine puts all these grooves, nicks and crannies and everything into the wood. Okay, after that's done, it goes into a submerging tank where this wood is completely dipped into a Wood Life product. The Wood Life product is a fire retardant. It's also an insect repellent as well as a wood preservative. And this piece of wood gets completely submerged and is really done right. Then it goes onto a conveyor belt, and it sits on this dry building for about 3 days before it runs down a conveyor belt, and a factory primer is put on this wood, and it's only put on the exterior surfaces. Our window sashes are done right. It's not like we're laminating something to the face of it that needs to be glued or screwed. And we're not wrapping some aluminum over it or something like that to try to preserve it. If the sash is done right the first time, you're going to get a good longevity out of the sash. Also, the engineering of our sashes, I increased our glass wrap, our glass area here that holds the glass here, so we can put a thicker double pane unit in our sashes. Also, the back portion right here, this glass rabbet, ours, I designed the sash to be 1/8 inch higher than standards, and I also put a 14-degree angle on this edge here. So that way, once the glass goes inside there and water runs down the glass, it will run off this 14-degree angle. And that also, these little engineering ideas here is what makes a sash last a long time. So if it's done right the first time, you shouldn't have to try to reinvent the wheel and try to wrap something or laminate something to this. Here's a sash here that's built, and this sash that's built here, you can see all the different kinds of bars that are in there. We have a tan bar, a bronze bar, a champagne color, white, then we also have the same colors over again on a different thickness bars. So we have a lot of different bars to offer. We have different low E's to offer, gray tint, bronze tint, and there's a lot of technology when it comes into glass. Our weather stripping that goes into the sash here, that goes around the window. Let me talk to you a moment about this weather stripping. This weather stripping here is a non-stick formula to where paint, shellac, or stain won't stick to this. So it's not going to dry, rot, and crack and fall off your home in 7 or 10 years like the previous weather stripping that you may have experienced. Here we are at a double hung window, and just like most wood windows, or every wood window I've ever seen, they all have a bottom sill nosing. Okay, they all have a bottom of a frame, which is behind the sill nosing, and they all have 3 sides of brick mold, a left side, a right side, and a top side. And that's the same with the casement window, that's the same with the horizontal sliding window. And this is called a double hung, or it might be called a vertical slider, or it might be called a single hung. The purpose of it is that it goes up and down. And a lot of times, you know, your balancers break, or, you know, you have one of these windows where you see the strings popping out. This is what a balance system looks like here. This is what helps the window go up and down, and on the side is a jam liner. And there's a lot of different parts, components, and most of all, changing fog glass and windows. Here we are at the horizontal slider. Now, horizontal sliders mean it just slides sideways. It could be also called a slide-by window, where both of them slide. Some houses have only one side slides. You can get it with a full screen. This one, we left the screen in it. You can get it with either a full screen, or you can get it with a half a screen. But once again, here we are again faced with a bottom sill nosing, a left brick mold, a right brick mold, and a top brick mold. Sometimes the top brick mold can be called a header brick mold. And it also has double pane glass. It still has the same locks. There's very minimal hardware on a sliding window. It mostly just slides on its own weight on top of a piece of vinyl. Very few windows have rollers on them, but we do have a lot of rollers and a lot of different parts and components available for the horizontal slider. Now, we can't just use any old caulk to glaze in a window. This caulking that we have has been sent to the glass manufacturers that manufacture the glass and glue it together, so there's no chemical reactions inside the glass, meaning this type of caulk here that glues the double pane of glass together doesn't have a chemical reaction with this that we're installing in our windows. So we use tested caulk. It goes out to a laboratory and make sure it gets tested. A lot of guys that don't know about this may just caulk it with whatever they have on a truck, and which will result in a premature seal failure, and we all know what those are: fog between the glass. We don't want that to happen. Once we install the bead of caulk around here, then we install the glass stop. Once the glass stop is installed, then we staple the glass stop into place. And we staple it in all the way around, and we hold it in tight. And then once that process is done, all the way around the window, we flip the window sash around. This one happens to be painted because we pre-painted the parts for the customer. We flip the window sash around, and we put a clear bead of caulk around the exterior. Now, this clear bead of acrylic caulk also has been tested, and when we put this small bead of caulk right here up against the glass to the sash, that will go all the way around the window, and that will seal the window in. Remember, we talked about my sash part has a 14-degree angle, so when the water runs down, it will hit this bead of caulk, and then it will also run off the windowsill. All these parts here are pulled for a job that's going out Tuesday, and being that it's Friday, what we do is we stage all our jobs 2 days in advance. My plant manager pulls all the work orders. We want to make sure we have everything, and if there's anything missing, we at least got 2 days to get it. And if you look all the way down this hallway and all the way down the hallway that way, that's everything that's going out Tuesday. Now I'll show you everything that's going out Monday is over here. Here we are with our truckloads that are scheduled for Monday. I showed you the stuff for Tuesday, and so you're kind of wondering, why am I telling you this? Well, it's important that we don't have back orders. We don't want the customer to be inconvenienced. So we stage all our stuff days in advance. You got truck number 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. All these parts are pulled and staged for your job. By pulling this stuff 2 days in advance, that gives us a real good grasp on things, so that nothing's missing for your job. As far as from screens go, to 1x6s, to sashes with glass and sashes without glass, we're here to work for you, and here's your parts. This is the night before we come out to your home, and this is what it basically looks like, what we're going to be doing. So we're going to start loading the trucks, and this is pretty much what it looks like. Hey, thank you very much for spending the day with Emily and I, and we wish you luck on your decision, and God bless.